Hello everybody and welcome to Joe's Barbecue House. Today I'm going to do something that I've never done before. And I'm going to take this 15-pound brisket and make brisket burgers. Stay tuned. Well, let's go ahead and get this thing sliced up. But first I want to remove this decal fat. It's a big chunk of fat that you don't want in there. And the brown spots you see there, they're just aging marks from how I guess they store the brisket from what I get out of it. So let's go ahead and get this thing trimmed up. Another thing here is on the end of this point here on the brisket, there's a bone there. I had to get that cut off. I also got this from GFS. Gordon Food Services, and it's a choice brisket. And what I'm going to do after I get this thing cut up is put it in a stainless steel bowl and put it in the freezer for about an hour, because I want this thing to stiffen up before I put it through my grinder. And just so you guys know, I'll be using the LEM Big Bite number 12 meat grinder. You guys probably saw that in my live video and one of my giveaway, which I do have a giveaway coming up, which I'll be closing before I post this video. And also, I'd like to tell you, once you get your meat cut up, put it in the freezer for at least an hour. You don't want to completely freeze it. You just want it super cold. And also, before you grind, put your grinding parts, like the throat of it, the tray, anything that you have that's meat's gonna run through, put that in the freezer as well. Then you'll see later in the video as to why. Well, here's the part where I'm slicing it up for the meat grinder. And the number 12 series of the LEM model it's got a pretty good sized throat, so I could go even up to 2 inches. And believe me, that thing will take it right down like butter. But if you have like a KitchenAid attachment, you're going to want to cube it up, and this process is probably going to take a little bit longer. So kick back and relax, and we're going to show this step by step and even make the patties out of it with the LEM automatic patty maker. Now here I'd like to show you that there's not a whole lot of marbling, which I'm very disappointed in, but it is a choice cut, so it's expected. That's why I'm leaving the fat cap on when I go to grind this out. I mean, the brisket only cost me $42, and I'm expected to get 28 patties out of it. And if I haven't mentioned, I trim about 1 pound of fat off of this brisket, and I did shave some of the silver skin off. Alright, let's go ahead and get this in the bowl and get it in the freezer and let it set in there for at least 1 hour. Alright, well, hours went by and I went ahead and pulled the meat out the freezer along with all the parts for the LEM meat grinder. Alright, let's go ahead and get this meat ground up. Also want to mention that big silver bowl there that you see, I had also put that in one of my deep freezers because I don't have room in my kitchen fridge. That's a pretty big bowl there. But as you can see, this LEM number 12 series is grinding it right up, no problems at all. I'd also like to mention that I'm using the 10mm coarse grinding bit for this first grind. You're probably wondering why I haven't turned the switch on there in the bottom right corner of the grinder. Well, that's because I have a foot pedal switch to where I could just lift my foot off and stop the grinder at any given time. And very important, a big huge safety note when running a grinder like this, be sure when you're done grinding all your meat, or you're done using it period, be sure to unplug the unit. Unplug it completely. The last thing you need to do is to go change your grinding bits or blades and accidentally step on that pedal. Alright, well here went about 14 pounds of brisket in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug the unit as you just saw, and take all these parts that the meat came into contact with, and I'm just going to rinse them off with hot water and then come back with some cold water and get this thing reassembled with the 4.5 millimeter grinding bit. Some of you might say, no Joe, what are you doing? Why are you using the fine? Well, it's my first time and I just experimenting here. I originally wanted to run it through the coarse bit, the 10 millimeter bit, twice, and then make my patties. But my wife wanted me to try it with the fine bit, so that's what we're going to do with these burgers. So as you can see here, we were debating on which one to use. So I went ahead and opened up that little drawer you've seen on the grinder and pulled out that 4.5 millimeter bit so we could start grinding. Alright, so what we want to do here is take this coarse grind and go ahead and just kind of mix it up a little bit and get into this bowl, and we're going to go ahead and grind this again. That way it should evenly distribute the fat a little bit better than what you see there. And yes, this is my first time doing this much ground meat, and it gets a little messy, so bear with me. Like I said, it's my first time. Okay, I got a little side note for everybody. Just be sure after your first grind, put it back in the freezer for at least, I would say at least 30 minutes or so before you go to the fine grind, or if you're going to do it, do another coarse grind, however you decide to do it. Because that time it took to grind the meat and get everything prepped up, cleaned up, ready to go with the grinder and everything, put the meat back in the freezer for at least 30 minutes. So here I'm going to use that white, I guess you call it push rod or whatever they call it, because running the meat through the fine grinding bit, that 4.5 millimeter bit, it's smaller holes, so it's going to take a little bit more to get it through there. But as you can see, it's going through like butter, no problems at all. I'll get a close up here and show you guys here at the end of this grind of what it looks like up close. But I will assure you, the next time I do brisket burgers, I will be running it through that coarse 10 millimeter grinding bit twice. Alright, well here's what it looks like before we put it in the automatic patty maker. Okay, so I went ahead and rinsed everything off again. And here is the LEM patty maker. You can make 2 patties at one time, and this thing so far seems to be really nice. It's a little attachment that you can get. It comes with 3 or 4 for different size grinders, but this is the attachment for mine. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put this thing back together, and we shall return. Alright, what we're going to do is take this food grade tub right here, and I'm going to line it up with parchment paper. You can use wax paper, whatever you like. As you can see, I have a layer down at the bottom there. And what I want to do is, as I make the patties, I'm going to lay them in there, then put another layer of parsnip or wax paper, and just keep going. And when finished, I'm going to put them in the freezer and let them freeze overnight, and then I'm going to vacuum seal them the next day. So let's go ahead and get these patties made. Now this is the very first time of me using this automatic patty maker from LEM. Let's see how it goes. I do apologize for the camera angle, but you'll see on the other side when I fill up the other patty side as of right there, you'll see how I push it out. Well, I gotta say, it could be packed a little too tight. I'm not sure. We're gonna find out later on, but for right now, this is gonna have to work. So I bought it to use it. Hopefully it works out. If it doesn't, then I'll have to make the patties by hand. But so far, I guess all you got to do is make sure that, that cylinder is filled with the meat, and then just slide it over and pull it out. I guarantee you, the next time I do this, anytime I do a second grind, I'm going to go ahead and put it back in the freezer for at least 30 minutes to get that meat cold again. With the little experience I have with a grinder, cold meat is the way to go. Alright, well here what I'm doing is I'm laying a sheet of wax paper or parchment paper over top of these burgers for each layer. And then I'm going to put them in the freezer overnight and come back the next day and vacuum seal. I probably won't show that part. I'm sure you guys know how to vacuum seal. But if you'd like, leave a comment down below, and the next time I do burgers or sausages or anything like that, I can show you how I vacuum seal. I would also like to mention that this 14-pound brisket, well, it's a 15-pound brisket, but after it was trimmed, say a 14-pound brisket, I was able to get 28 quarter-pound patties out of this thing, and really it didn't take that long to do. So I'm pretty impressed with this setup. Alright, let's go ahead and get the Weber kettle fired up, and we're going to grill some of these burgers up. Here I got a couple of lighter cubes. Just place them right on the top of the charcoal grate. Light them up and set your charcoal chimney right over the top. And within 10 to 15 minutes, we are going to have a hot fire. Here's just a close-up of how I do it, if some of you were curious. Alright, well all you gotta do here is once you get that flame rolling on the top of that chimney, just place them on one side of the grill. We're gonna sear over the hot fire and we're going to indirect on the rest. Alright, here I'm gonna use the Craycourt grates. They're a cast iron grate with removable grates, and this thing is awesome. I really do like it. It adds a lot of weight to the Weber kettle, makes it real sturdy. And here all I'm gonna do is spray a little bit of spray butter or any kind of Pam or whatever you got. Just gonna spray them over the grates and then rotate them and then spray the other side and get these burgers on. Now keep in mind, spraying the cast iron grates will help keep them seasoned and is not necessary for the cooking grates that came with your Weber. Alright, so I'm going to use my SPG and my hot rub. Go ahead and get these things seasoned up and get them ready for the pit. Alright, well I'm going to do 8 of these burgers, so let's go ahead and get them on this hot flame and see how they do. Alright, go ahead and put your lid on, and being that these are kind of fatty, we're going to go ahead and only go about 1 minute per side on these and then take them indirect. Alright, our 1 minute is up, so let's go ahead and flip these bad dogs and see how they're doing. And so far we're getting a really nice char. And if I had to do this again, I didn't realize they were going to flame up this bad, but I know it's going to add some great flavor. But the next time I do this, I'm going to do them indirect first and then throw them over the open fire. I'm pretty sure they'll hold up a whole lot better. Okay, our minute is up, and I'd like to go ahead and take these to the indirect side, which is opposite of your flames, and we'll let them sit for 3 to 5 minutes. And we'll go ahead and check them out. Alright, time is up. Let's go ahead and get these into the pan and get them in the house. And let's build a quick burger. It won't be nothing fancy, but it's going to be a tasty burger, I'll tell you that. Also be sure to close all your vents on your Weber, the top and bottom. That'll allow you to save the coals for the next cook. That's why I put a whole chimney in there. You could have probably got away with a half a chimney the way I did this grill, so just keep in mind, you can close your vents and save your coals for the next cook. I do apologize, but I did lose the clip on building the burger, but as you can see, there's some bacon, lettuce, and onion, provolone cheese, and oh man, this is going to be good. So here I'm going to add this whoop-ass jalapeno steak sauce. It tastes just like A1 with just maybe a little kick and just that little extra habanero flavor, and let me tell you, it's really good. So let's go ahead and cut into this thing and see what we got. Now I'm going to tell you right now, it is well done. I may have to do that in a lot of catering events in the future, so I just was practicing with this particular burger. But it is juicy, and let me tell you, it is fall apart tender. Really, really good stuff. So that's all that I have for you guys right now. But if you like what you saw, please give it a thumbs up. Comment if you have any questions, and please share this video to your friends. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.